North is a film that chronicles the Black liberation movement using never-before-seen archival footage through the eyes of the lived experiences of those who led that movement. In 1968 and 1969, through the events of the Black Writers' Conference and the Sir George Williams occupation and uprising in Montreal.
Well, this history is still very much unknown, and we're hopeful that this film sheds a light on this period, the people that were involved, and this moment in history, as Michelle said, that is very much unknown still to this day.
Well, I think that one of the important things, Matt, is that this occurred in Montreal, Quebec in 1968. And one has to understand that it occurred as a revolt within a larger context of political change, and that is the emergence of Quebec Power and the retrieving, if you will, of their rights within the society. And our revolt occurred within that framework. And it was one in which perhaps some of the basic views of race of the United States that you're referring to did not necessarily apply in Canada. We had a far more cosmopolitan, multicultural reality in which this occurred. But it did also surface forms of white racism as well that often were deflections of anti-French racism onto the Black population.
I came from St. Vincent. Came to Canada in 1965. In St. Vincent, an island of maybe around 100,000 people, predominantly of African heritage. Notice I say African heritage and not Black. There was a distribution of color from white to Black, but we were all Vincentians. When I came to Canada, I discovered that for a number of years I was colored. Then I was a Negro. And then at some point I was Black. Okay. What did that mean to me as an individual? The other thing that was really annoying, the assumption of integrity, honesty, that supposedly was the foundation of white society was totally destroyed in dealing with people who were white. To move from that island, to come to Canada, to confront racism, was not, even today, I came in 65, and today I still do not understand. I wish someone would explain to me.
So this particular moment, it's not just that one professor. It's how the white institution rallied and protected that professor in front of flagrant evidence to his behavior. And so this is what rallied the forces of the students and non-students. There were many non-students involved in the search for justice, reclamation, visibility in front of this university apparatus.
This is a really strange and bizarre time. Stories like True North and others like it are no longer going to have the support or a platform. And as we've heard from Rodney and Norman, their histories and their stories have been silent. They've been unseen. And so these are opportunities that we're losing to place people, stories that are untold and unheard. We're losing those opportunities. And it's a moment that I think people should really be fearful of, because when we're being silenced like this, what's next?
The only thing I'd add, it's in the case of True North, it's not just the content and the lived experiences, but it's also the form. It's about the independent artist, and we are facing a fascistic regime that is intent on destroying independent cinema, intent on destroying not just our voices, but any kind of independence with regards to freedom of speech, freedom of how we tell our stories. We're at a battle of narratives. We're at a crossroads that is going to require a lot of effort from all of us to kind of rally and follow the lead of those, who made this, who instigated the movement for greater justice in 68 and 69 as our beacon for what we need to do next.
Yeah, I was going to say that the film for me ultimately is about conflict, memory, and identity. And what's at stake here is fundamentally memory and identity. The conflict largely has occurred. And to the extent that you have an erasure of this type of effort, you also have the connected erasure of memory and identity. Part of the whole issue surrounding Black consciousness was the fact that our identity was mediated through essentially white supremacy. And this recapturing of identity is what these efforts were all about at Sir George Williams' 1969 and later in the Black Writers' Conference. So this struggle for us is a broader struggle involving far more than just this one film, that this is about continuing. This is about our venceremos.